All right, how's everyone doing? So I have a review of sword here. Now this sword's got a black blade. So if that's a deal breaker for some, sorry. You probably could take that all off with like paint thinner. Might do it. But this sword is from Jihpen, Jihpen. It's another Longquin manufacturing company. And there's a reason why I got this sword. Because of my sword metals that I've been doing series. I try and get swords that are made out of the materials if I can, so I can see how they perform. Obviously, I do not do destruction tests because, well, this out of my own pocket. So, and I'm not rich. So I don't destroy them, but I see how they function. You know, if I do an oops, hit in the sand, see how it withstands it, things like that. So I didn't have anything made out of this material, which it says this is 5160. 5160 spring steel is a good spring steel to get. I'll also have some close-ups of this. Like I said, it's a black blade, so it's nothing fancy. Now, this is a mono steel through hardened. You can differentially harden 5160 though. It's do have to be skilled on doing it. It's not like 9260 that you can't. But this sword surprised the hell out of me. I gotta admit. It's actually pretty good for the price, and we'll get into the price. It does have, though, it does have rattle in the saya. Okay. But the lacquer job on the saya is nicely done. There's no ripples in it at all. Now, granted, it is piano finish polish, so your fingerprints are going to show up on that. But that's not a deal breaker for me. I use that wax wood polish on my sayas are like this. And it really brings the shine out, takes the fingerprints off and everything. The handle itself is 10.5 inches long. So it's almost 11 inches. And it's actually really comfortable in the hands. So, I mean, I could really get some distance with my hands, which is a good thing. Because most people, what they do is they choke all the way up to the tsuba. You're really supposed to stay down below the fuchi. And that's so it gives you more movement. And then this backhand back here. So I've got plenty of room with this handle. The transition of the Edo wrap and everything on here is well done. It doesn't have real samigai. It's that rubber fake stuff, which is fine. Again, for the price point. And like I said, we're going to get into how much this sword costs. It's like all katanas. It's got that front heaviness, but it's not bad at all. I've had some that were worse, especially where the POB stands on this. The POB on this is 5.5. That's a little bit more than I like. I like it more 4.5. Because sometimes with that POB being so far out, that POB, that blade, you could feel it just wants to drop too much, and you already know that you won't be able to control it. But this thing's got one heck of a nice taper too, to it. So you can see how it really tapers out right at the end there. And then if we come all the way down here, then it gets thicker. So it really has a distal taper to it. And I think that helps with it not being so front heavy with the POB being out there like it is. So that is a plus. Okay. So that means you're going to be able to control this sword pretty good. Like I said, this is, you can see the flex. So this is a spring steel. 5160, it does have a decent edge to it. It's not a razor's edge, but it's got a decent edge to it out of the box. The Suba is very simple. It's just square cutouts. I like the simplicity of it. It's got a kind of, you could say, a gothic look to it, which I kind of like. The Kostra on the back, though, is not even loose. In fact, if you look at it, I have close-ups too here. You could tell that they wrapped around the Kostra. I like that because it seems to me it keeps that Kostra really locked in, even though if they glue it, it still helps. So the Ito wrap is a little loose, but not horrible. It's almost up there to where I would say like Hanbon status. Almost, not quite. Nothing's loose on this thing at all. Nothing rattles on it. So, what is the price point of this thing? This only costed me over $60. That was it for this. Now, what people go, that's too cheap. How do you know it's $51.60? First off, I'm tired of hearing that shit. Okay? You don't know. Just like with knives that you buy, even if it's made in the United States, you don't know if it's actually that material. You have to take their word in good faith. Hence, if nobody heard about it, Bark River Knives. They were saying the metal was made of one thing, and it wasn't. Okay? And that was a company made in the United States. If a company can screw you over and get away with it, it doesn't matter where in the world it is, they will. So you have to take their word for it. Okay? So, normally, for like $60, if this is $51.60, you're paying for the blade only. Okay? Because believe it or not, people think steel's hella expensive. It depends on what type of steel you're getting. And a lot of times, steel isn't that expensive if you buy in bulk. I know I used to buy steel in bulk and you get a hell of a discount out of it. Okay? So no, steel can and cannot be hell expensive. It depends on how much they're buying. You know, sword manufacturers, they're buying a ton of steel. So they're probably getting a really big discount. Okay? So just so I make that clear, rain is now over. Anyways, $60 for this thing. And they have a Wagasashi and Tonto in the same design, so you can put together a daisho set, which I think is kind of cool. On Amazon, there's two sellers, just so you know, because I got this off Amazon. The G pen, like I said, I could be mispronouncing that. I'll put a link to it down below. If you go on their page on Amazon, this will run you $80. Okay. There's another seller where you'll get this for a little over $60. All right. The company that you get it for $60, it's the exact same sword. They're an offshoot of G-Pen. Okay. They're owned by them. It's just that company knocks like $10, $20 off. Same sword. So you're getting the same thing, same material, just like $10, $20 cheaper. That's it. Okay. So if you go on Amazon, you look for this and you see two different types and you're like, whoa, what's going on with this? That's what's going on. I looked it up. So, G-Pen also has a website online where you can get, different swords, and they get kind of pricey. They get up there. They get up to the $200, $300 range. So it depends on what you want, like any company. But for a little backyard cutter, I've done some simple cutting with this right now. I'm going to be doing some more cutting throughout the week before I do my steel video on 5160. It's fun. This thing is so fun to use, and it's super light. This is not, for a Shinogi Zakuri, it does not feel really, really heavy. I can't do too much with this hand because kind of damaged it at work. But it is an extremely fun sword to use. So if you're looking for something that's not going to break the bank and you want to have fun with it, and you don't want to be too worried about, oh crap, I made a big oops, because 5160 can take a beating. It ranks up there with 9260. 9260 outdoes it in like abuse test, but 5160 holds its ground with it pretty damn close. It's an awesome steel to get. I'll be getting into it more in my video. But yeah, fun little sword. Yeah, like I said, you want something that doesn't break the bank? Right here. This thing, nice. The moment you feel it in your hands, you know you can control it. You know. So, not super front heavy. None of that. It's got a nice distal taper on the blade. And then it's colored. So, you don't have to worry too much about it getting rust, you know, on it. All that much. This ranks up there with that crane katana I got. And I'll try to remember to put a card right here or somewhere for it to link to that video. Because that thing surprised me too. That one was on sale. I got it also for $60. $10.95 mono steel. Eater wrap was a little bit looser than this one. Not too bad though. I gave that one like an A-. I mean, it's not 100%, you know, up there. This thing, I would categorize it in about the same. There no way are there horrible things, because I've had some there. The Ito is like, you move it once and it's like the whole thing's moving. The crane katana and this one are nothing like that at all. The only reason why I give it an A- is because the E-Rep can be way, way better. Way, way tighter. If it was, it'd be like an A+ on both. But that one's also a fun one to use, and it came nice and sharp. So, now do you have to sharpen this a lot more? Yes, because it's a mono through hardened steel. But so far, this thing's a fun little thing. So you're probably going to see this in my shorts this week, playing around with it. Going to be doing a live next Saturday too. So I'll be putting up a post on that, the times and everything. That will be on steels, swords that we have that with a certain type of steel and how we feel they perform, how they've held up by using them. So keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, G-Pin, fun. I mean, I took a shot in the dark. I kept seeing this on Amazon and read the reviews and everything. And some people, I've noticed, they said they can move the Ito wrap a lot. Well, this one I can't. I mean, you can move it back and forth and you can see the wood a little bit, but like they're removing it like you really expose the wood. So maybe they corrected that issue a bit, or just some of their people aren't on par. If they were to add a little glue maybe underneath the Ito wrap, it would make it even tighter. I don't know. But it's not, like I said, it doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart. So, second of all, the saya. Like I said, the saya is nice. I have images of all this. The mouth of the saya is cut really nicely for a price point like this, for $60. Again, if you want something to fool around with in the backyard, you're just learning or whatever, especially our economy right now, you don't have a lot of money, you cannot go wrong with this thing. Seriously, I don't see how you can go wrong with it. So, and put it in here. It doesn't fall out. It's got that nice tension to it like it should. And then it just pops right open. I mean, $60. Besides the the rattle in the saya. But these things are mass produced. They're not cut, you know, internally for each sword. But yeah, G-Pin. Give it a shot. Have fun with it if you get one. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But for people, like I said, are on a fixed budget, especially in this economy, you definitely can't go wrong with this thing. And it's very subtle. I like that. And like I said, it's very gothic looking. I think it's kind of cool. I like that look. I might just go ahead and get the Tonto and Wagasashi to go with this, so I have a full set and just have fun with them. All the blades are blackened out. But like I said, I think if you take some paint thinner, it might be able to take that coating off. Not sure, I've never tried it. But yeah, I like the coating sometimes on them because I don't have to worry about them rusting like bare blades as much. I have a Wagasashi, it's blackened blade, and I've never oiled it. It's never rusted. So, but that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you like this one. And we will see you all later. Take it easy.